Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing. Hey there, there's our reviewee. For this session we are reviewing a bronze tank player. I believe we're looking at Orisa and Rein for this. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe. That helps me out a lot. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord through the description below and see what the rates look like, as well as hang out with the community, all sorts of cool stuff there. So what do we have? We have Diva as our tank partner, McCree Sombra, Mercy Zen. Okay, so we've got pretty decent poke.
Attackers incoming.
So generally you'd start this one by actually just looking straight up, and like 2 seconds before the door opens or right as the door opens, you'd send it literally straight up. You would send up a shield, and that shield will fall down about 3-4 seconds later, and you'll have a full shield here. And you can deploy that ahead of time, and it'll continue to, and it'll be there, and you've effectively pre-deployed the shield, but you've ticked away that 3-4 seconds off the cooldown that it took to fall down, and you can launch that up before the door opens. So it lands, and you've got a little bit of a cooldown lead on your, yeah, you know the shield in the air trick. Good. So don't forget about that when you know where you're going to want to deploy your shield. Good. Beautiful. I don't actually want you quite this far forward. You can actually be more conservative with your shield. New shield. Okay, so I want the new shield, but if you look at this from their perspective, you're giving them a lot of shield to shoot at, and you don't actually need all this shield for them to shoot at. Like, does your team need to be over here? No. In fact, you could be playing from right here, and your shield could just be like this. That would be fine. You wouldn't care if half of your shield was in this wall, etc. You could also angle it because there's a little bit of a curvature to your shield, so your shield is more like this, and then shoot this way, etc. You don't need to give them quite so much shield to shoot at because you're not going to use this. You're still interested in the corner. Like, you have the shield and you'll shoot with the shield, etc., etc. But if your shield breaks, you still need to be able to go behind the corner. You're kind of far out here, and you kind of have set the center of your shield pretty far out here. The center of your shield can be further to the right, and you can be further to the right, so that when your shield breaks, because a shield will usually break before you get another one, we can't do our, pre-shield trick forever. You're going to want to have cover that you can go behind, or you're going to fortify, and then you're still going to want cover to go behind, etc. Okay. Okay. You can put a new shield down. You don't realize it. You are going to hit your fortify. Yeah, so let's re-go over this. So this is kind of what I was talking about how your shield could have been a little further back. And if your shield's a little further back, you can easily have your shield with its curvature a little more like this effectively, and you can use your shield to shield from this direction a little more. You still have the corner available here in case the shield breaks. You have a little more ability if you're playing back closer to this corner to go, okay, maybe I want to back up to here and reset this as my position, etc. Like, you've got more ability to do all that stuff, but not a big deal so far. So you're shooting at the hog, but you've only got 20 shots, so you are correct to go, hey, I should shield dance. It's a little dicey because they're shooting you from the other direction, but your team seems to be winning in that direction, so we'll call it okay. But that is unfortunately a case of, hey, because you were there, because you felt you had to retreat through your shield, as opposed to a little more this way. Or maybe this is where the Junkrat came from. Let's actually see. Did the Junkrat go on the flank? Yeah, he did. Okay, so that would have been trouble regardless. Not a big deal. We just don't know where the Junkrat is. And then because we don't know where the Junkrat is, you get thrown into that. I would have liked to see... probably try to halt that Roadhog away from your Mercy who was going for the res. She shouldn't have gone for that res, but I would have liked to see that. Anyway, just some initial positioning mistakes there that contributed to this. Exactly.
Archiving combat data. Enemy turret here.
So again, this is too far forward. This shield is too far forward. This shield can instead just sort of be like, hey, shield, you're doing things. I would like you, instead of being up here, to be sort of back over here like this. Because that lets you go, hey, that's my new shield. And now from my new shield, I can poke this out just slightly like I am, but I give them way less surface area of the shield to beat on, or all the surface area of the shield is useful to me. Here, they can like stand right here where you can't see them and shoot at your shield. They can stand right here where you can't really see them and shoot at your shield. So that's just shield that's being exposed without them having to expose themselves to an angle that you can potentially see and punish them for, shoot at them with, etc. So you don't want that. You want to minimize the surface area visible that you can't punish them for shooting at, etc. You know, this is way more protection than you need. Protection back here does the job because you don't consider this permanent protection anyway, so you are keeping the corner in mind regardless. Hey, how many? Gonna reload? No, you're just backing out. Okay. I don't mind this. I don't mind saying, hey, I want to take more space with this shield. That's fine. But I'd have actually probably thrown your shield up to here and then used this as my new space. If you wanted to use this as your new space, that's fine. We've talked about how to adjust the shield. If you wanted to use this, you just throw the shield right up here and then you'd go up to here and do your work. You can turn and peel that Junkrat with a halt. As soon as this reload's over, you need to turn and peel that Junkrat with a halt. Yeah. Okay, just a little too slow to deal with him. At the time, you'd have wanted to play effectively behind with the newsstand as your cover, and you'd have mostly been shooting to the left. You could rotate over here, and you might deploy your next shield after it differently, but you'd have deployed your shield effectively like this, and then you'd have been here, and you'd have gone pew 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 pew, and then you can fade that way, you know, if you're taking too much damage. Or if it's wrong and they come this way, you can fade this way. If they do both, well, that bites, and at that point you go, okay, maybe I've got to use my fortify to get back to here, etc. You want to put your shield in front of your McCree who's doing his ult. In front of your McCree who's doing his ult. That time you did want to throw it further forward. I think you're down more than one. So this is helping your Zen, your Baby Diva, your Mercy, and you. And then Sombra's over here. Yeah, you're kind of down 1.5 right now. I can live with it, but it's a little late to be supercharging here. Like if we look at this, did you have your supercharger before? Let's rewind a little bit more. Okay, so we just got our supercharger, and we are down 2. Yep, so we don't really want to use it right now. Now we're kind of looking for a moment, because we got the Junkrat, and we got a res off. So now we're sort of looking to use it. So again, he kind of hit the right timing for his ult, sort of. You just didn't protect him during it. It's not a great ult, but it's the right timing where it's a 5v5. And now you go down another half person. You go down another person here. Yeah, you don't really want this anymore. Yeah, and also you dropped this supercharger and then immediately had to reload. So you're not even going to get to take good advantage of this supercharger, right? Like you're going to spend a lot of your time that you'd get, because you don't necessarily expect your supercharger to last the whole time, and the most power you're going to get out of the supercharger is at the beginning, because you know they're going to either run you over and try to destroy your supercharger, or they're going to go to cover. So it's at the beginning of the ult that you're going to get the most benefit from it. So going, hey, I have to reload right at the beginning of having deployed it, that's not very good. Stay on him. Fine. Good effort. You don't need to be backing up. You actually don't want to waste anything right now. You have a Transcendence Zen. You don't want to waste your barrier right now. People are not going to be going down, other than from that tire, in your Zen's Transcendence. You want to be pushing forward and potentially taking this fight. And now you should be able to do, A, this cart shouldn't have been moving. B, you should now be set up right here because you were able to stay up here the whole time with a shield deployed on this side and you going pew, 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 pew right here. That's what should be happening. Don't walk into the trap. Okay. You can halt him out if you want. You can. He doesn't have anywhere he can really retreat back there, so you can... Okay, you had to go a little tighter, but you can do it. You can't stay this close if you want him. You have to back out further to change the angle. Don't reactively shift against whole hog. Whole hogging doesn't do much damage usually because whole hog knocks people back, but your fortify means you won't get knocked back. So he's far enough away that you're okay, but generally you do not want to press shift when you're taking that whole hog damage because it means you will just get chunked down like very, very quickly. You need to stop the cart. Even if this is a lost fight, you need to be stopping the cart at this point. Yeah, so the problem is if they now win this fight, there's a time that the cart can't move. The cart is automatically going to wait for this garage to open, and you can't stop this garage from opening. So you now going down as opposed to going down before the garage started opening, before they got the checkpoint, is a pretty big difference because the cart couldn't move for the next 3-4 seconds anyways. And if you go down in these 3-4 seconds, you're not doing anything. You're not stopping the cart from moving. You're just buying them time effectively. Whereas if you went down on the cart before the garage opened, even if you only last for 2 or 3 seconds, that's 2 or 3 seconds plus the garage 3 or 4 seconds. Whereas now you're overlapping your 2 or 3 seconds with the garage 3 or 4 seconds. So they've gained more time. Yep, little too late. Hey, Semitic. Good to have you here. You don't want to back out, though, because you're not going to get away. Like, you're still not going to get out. I think. I think you're not going to get out. You shouldn't get out. Okay, you're going to get out. High ground. Go take your high ground. You don't want to be on the low ground. Go up high. Up top. Ramps behind you. Okay, your team was here. You could have been taking space again. Okay, now they're not. We need to reset again. We're only going to get one stop on this point. You need to back out too. Okay, we are going to do that. Yep. So I don't love it, but if we look at this, here's your shield. Okay, you don't have shield when he does this. Now you have shield. I would consider redeploying this shield to protect your McCree. It might not be in time, but I would strongly consider it. Yeah, it wouldn't have been in time. I don't think you can protect this well enough. See, again, you have 6 shots left. So this isn't fantastic. You have 6 shots left, and this will hurt it even if you're standing on top of it, because this is piercing damage. This will go through shields. This will go through you. This will hurt it, I believe, even if you're trying to protect it with your body, with fortify, with a barrier, all of that stuff. So you don't want to put this in the open when they have extra piercing damage going, and you don't want to use this when you have 6 shots left. If we were looking for a better time to use this, did you just get it? Let's take a look.
I'm taking care of you.
Again, I want you on high ground. And if you were on high ground and used like a supercharger right here on high ground, it would be really hard for them to get, but it would still apply to all of your people on high ground. Or if you put it here, it would apply to the people on low ground behind it too, and that would be great, but it would still be really hard for them to see and get at, etc. Those are types of spots that you're looking for your supercharger.
Step right up.
Yeah, you use it right as you get it again. It should go down pretty quick. You can't effectively protect it. Not the Valk. Just farm the hog as best you can. It's unfortunate, but it's what you're gonna do. Okay. Well, hey, learn from your enemies then. If you can't figure out how to beat something, sometimes the right answer is to do it to see if your opponents can figure out how to beat it, because they'll teach you.
I'd rather not.
I must return home.
My EMP is almost charged.
Move up with me.
Okay. It's gonna break. Where are you gonna go? You needed to sort of preempt that was gonna break and already know where you were gonna go, because right now you could get hooked and you could block with Fortify, but that's not lovely. Good.
Enemies on my radar.
Okay, right there. Yes, almost. A tiny bit further forward would have been better. You can work with this one though. Yep, break the turret. That's a good use. New barrier, new barrier, new barrier. Too far back, too far back. I understand the concept of, hey, I want to only fight one direction at a time, but there's nothing over here to fight. And if we're thinking about superchargers, so assuming that you guys weather this tire without losing someone, you'd consider, or you could even do it in reaction to this tire to make it easier to destroy the tire. If you put your supercharger right here, it's going to have a pretty good effect on any teammates in this area. You don't have teammates in this area. Whatever. Your team's too deep for you to do this. Why is your Zen here? It's an interesting question. Okay. Generally, this would be a supercharger spot because it would be like, oh, I can throw beams all over here, etc., and it's hard for the enemies to round the corner and go get it. Right now, it's not because your team can't take advantage of it, because your team's positioning is bad. So you don't actually want to back away from that. You want to find a spot because A, the tire can't one-shot you. You can fortify if you have to. B, you have pretty good poke into the tire and can chip it down pretty well even if you don't destroy it. C, you don't want to be in a place where the tire can take out your mercy and hurt you. You want it to have to pick between one of those, and you'd prefer it to have to go past you to get to your mercy because that gives you time to shoot at it. Why is that too far back? It's to reduce the area for the enemy to shoot at it. So I like reducing the area for the enemy to shoot at it, but if you look at it... Oh no, this one's potentially fine. Let's go back. I was thinking this was further back than it was. No, this is fine. Yeah, this one's fine. I thought I saw one that was further back. Like, this is actually exactly what I want. I thought I saw one that was further back. Maybe I'm mixing up barriers. Yeah, this barrier's fine. This is the one that I love a little less. Like, it's okay. It is okay. You do have an angle on them, etc. You just can't, like... It's not a big deal. This isn't a big deal. I would like this a tiny bit further forward because it gives you a little more range to play with that is actually useful to you, but this barrier is perfectly reasonable. The last one was a little better, but yeah. Okay. I'd have liked you to throw your halt there because well, you didn't have ammo. Okay. I would have liked you to try to keep the Mercy in so you could get the finish on them while they were EMP'd. Like, you know that they can't protect themselves effectively during you guys hit the EMP, right? So you're here. So I want to throw a halt because I know it's going to bring them all into range for me to shoot at. That's going to be nice. They can't absorb it with like a Sigma shift or anything like that. This is a good moment to throw a halt. Yes, it's going to clump them a bit, so maybe you struggle to get exactly the target you want, but would have been solid. Yeah, that's better. Good. Okay, now you're up, so you don't have to, but this would have been a good moment to the supercharger right here, except that you went up, so now you're fine. now you're really up by enough that I don't want this anymore. Like, you were up 1 and I probably said no, now you're up 2. Definitely don't want it. Just toss him back to mess up his distribution. Just melee. You just melee Sigmas when they're in your face with shift like that. You go punch, punch, punch. It's good. Again, I'd expect a halt here just in part of cleanup. Halt might have been able to stop that Moira from getting away. You know exactly where that Moira was going, and if they don't have Fade, you get them. If they do have Fade, you force Fade.
I'm on fire. You are
Okay.
advised to move behind my back. I recommend moving
Close that
behind
angle a little harder when you're reloading. Turret. Where is your Discord? You're just too late on your shift here.
For your own safety, get behind the back.
Remember, you haven't been healed up yet, so the instant this barrier goes down, or the instant you take damage, yeah. So that's fine. Shift. You pretty much have to shift right here because your barrier went down. You're what's left. You're not going to be able to go anywhere. You have to hit Fortify right now. And it also would have been okay to throw a halt at this Torb to keep him a little further away so he's a little less dangerous to you. You could have really used it when he ran past the first time. It's fine. Now, you don't want to back away here because there's no real chance of you getting out, and the cart gets to move because you're backing away. Also, if you were walking towards the cart, this Mercy might not have been gutsy enough to go for this res, and even if she was, it would have been easy to throw the halt right past her and just pull her away to cancel the res. Try to drop the barrier. Try to. Okay, maybe it was coordinated. Maybe you knew your Zen was coming back with Tran, so you were trying to survive for that extra second. I still don't think you need... Is tire 400 or 600? I think tire's 400 and you're in a trans with a Zen and you have 450, so you're usually fine through tire. Yeah, I'd have liked to halt in there. Halt just to suck him back, keep him locked up, etc. But that's fine. Oh, excellent. Excellent. I'm glad that communication was happening.
60 seconds remaining.
Okay. No, 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 no. Well, it worked. Shield, shield. No, no, no. That's not when we fire strike. That's not when we fire strike. That fire strike, you were at 300 HP. You were out in the open. You can't cancel the fire strike. We don't want that one. You can't, like, go bind cover to protect yourself, any of that. Let your team heal him. Okay, good. I don't really love that fire strike either, but it's less bad. No, 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 no. That's not what we do. We don't like this pin because even if we hit this pin, it ends us here, and this is where the enemies come back from and they can be shooting at us. We don't need to do this pin. Our team can shoot at him just fine as we walk forward. It's too much risk for not enough reward. Yes. So I don't really like this pin either. I just like you to swing. So if you look at this Moira, sort of, we're backing up here. You're getting healed. You're getting healed. You have armor, and it's just a Moira to your right. I would like you to swing at the Moira. She does very little damage to you with how her weapon works, with how her right click works. Into you while you have armor, you have plenty of health. You don't need to be giving her shield right now. You are happy to go, nope, I'm going to walk forward and swing at you, and you really can't hurt my armor very much at all. So you're just kind of donating some shield here, and then this should be swings. You should already be on your second swing onto her. Even if the first one missed, you could be on your second swing onto her. And you don't want to go for this pin, because if you miss it, you might knock her away. You might make it harder for your Reaper. Maybe she gets out, etc. It stuns you. Like, this, swings are better here. They are. There we go. Good, you didn't fire strike. I thought for sure you would. Good. That's fine. Okay. So we mostly saw Orisa there. We want to change your supercharger placement locations. We want to change your supercharger timing a bit. But other than that, some pretty okay stuff. Your shields got better as the round went on, and we need you to be a little more aware of your fortifier, a little faster on the trigger with that when your barriers break, if you're going to use it, etc.
Ready for battle.
Ready to move.
I think you'd have gotten the Moira even if the Reaper didn't get it. I think there's a decent chance you'd have been able to swing and get her, but you certainly made it harder on yourself.
Attackers incoming.
Okay, so you have a Diva. That's good news for playing into a Bastion here. Push out the Doomfist. Okay, so there's two things that you're interested in doing. This is not one of them. The two things you're interested in doing is advancing this cart as carefully as you can and getting as close to this Bastion's nest as possible while taking minimal damage, spending minimal resources, so use as much cover as possible to get you and your team here. So that's like a, hey, maybe we push this cart while ducking behind it as best we can to get it close, etc. And then once we've gotten it as close as we feel we can, we're going to rotate through here. The Bastion doesn't have sight on us the whole time, and then we're going to go, okay, we're pushing under in 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to run as fast as we can while shielding to get ourselves over to here. And then we're going to walk up here, you know, rotate through here, go this, etc. And of course, they won't be here by the time we get here. Like, they're going to leave if we successfully got 5 or 6 people across. They're not just going to stand here and fight us. If they do, that's fine. You can, you know, go, hey, I'm going to break in 3, 2, 1. You run, you wait here for a second, get shield out, and then you go here and you go, swing, blah, 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 and you go down, but your team gets him. That's what you'd look to do here. You could try to do something similar like this. Push the cart, push the cart, push the cart. Then shield, get into here, recharge your shield. Okay, we're pushing in 3, 2, 1, and in here we go. And then we push up here and do much the same thing. But most of the time, they're not going to stand and fight if you get to here with a reasonable number of people. They're going to go somewhere else and now set up over here. And that's fine, because now you get to have someone drop back, push the cart again, etc. And you just do the same thing where you go, okay, let me figure out what my best sight line is. Either I'm going to rotate to here and then we're going to go 3, 2, 1 and charge them, or I'm going to rotate through here to, if that gets me closer without opening the sight line, and then go 3, 2, 1, and we're going to rush them again. That's what you're looking to do here. And your Diva is a big help in letting you do that. Diva is the best tank for going up against Bastion, in my opinion. Though in Bronze, Hog might be better. You're suing me for blasphemy? Why are you suing me for blasphemy? I'm not going to rest in peace because I don't think I've lost a lawsuit for blasphemy yet. I want to know what Jimbo here is talking about. Bastion could probably be spammed out with Zen Soldier. It's possible, but that's a very, hey, I hope my team gets this done type thing, whereas he's Reinhardt, he can take a little more charge. If you wanted to force out the Bastion, try to beat it down, etc., you'd run like Hanzo Farah Zen Mercy at it or something. Like, you wouldn't be going, hey, Soldier Zen as your combination to try to break down the Bastion from a range with max projectile, etc. You'd be going like Hanzo Farah, shooting from super far away to just break it, where it's got a ton of spread, a ton of fall off, and they don't, and they beat it, and they go. But, you know, this is a Reinhardt review, and the Reinhardt doesn't pick what his teammates are. He works with the teammates he has. Okay. So let's see what actually happens. So the idea you're saying here, Game Buster, of hey, we should push the cart, or that your Zen said we should push the cart, that's fine. You can do that, but you don't want to do this. You just literally want to use the cart as cover. Your Zen's got the idea, yeah. You don't need to help push the cart. They can do it by themselves. In fact, I'd prefer that you get up over here so that if they get jumped, you're ready to help them, or get up over here so that if they get jumped, you're ready to help them, etc. But you don't need to be behind the cart yourself. You're a little too big. Okay, so go up the side, please. Okay, they moved. The Bastion moved. Bastion's moving. You have some freedom. Swing, sure. Shield. Okay. Shield, shield. Nice. We have no idea what's really happening over in Bastion land, other than Bastion took down your Diva and your Genji. Okay, so they're losing. So you're probably done at this point. You've lost too many. Their Bastion is up. Their Bastion is ulting. I mean, you can try to trade out, try to go get some more frags, etc. But you want this to end pretty quick. You don't want to just be shielding, delaying your own demise at this point. You want to go trade out, swing into them, push cart, whatever you can do. You delaying your own going down doesn't make a ton of difference right here. You're going to need a new fresh push. So your team is making progress. Okay, there's the cart stoppage. You should not have gotten that much cart pressing here, but hey, I'm good with it.
Enemy is back in the
You were going to go for that charge. You'd have done it earlier in his take a breather to stun him out of the take a breather, but that's okay. What can Zen do? Just the Discord? No, the Zen is a projectile hero, so Zen's orbs don't take fall-off damage if he throws them all the way across the map. Like, the Zen can stand back here and lob them at the Bastion nest and be fine, because there's no fall-off damage on his orbs, whereas the Bastion is going to have a ton of spread and a ton of fall-off damage. Where the further away a target is, the less damage a Bastion does to it for two reasons. One is that the aim gets worse because he has spread to his weapon. Two, it's a hit scan weapon where once you get past certain range increments, it starts doing less damage. Most projectile weapons in this game don't have any sort of ranged increment fall off, and Zen has a projectile weapon with his orb, so he can just throw orbs from here to be very, very little threat from the Bastion and just try to beat the shield effectively. Sort of, yeah. But he wouldn't take the shields down rapidly enough by himself. He would need help, and maybe the soldier could help with that. Okay, back to you.
My ultimate is charged. Attack with it.
So I don't really want you giving away shield. We can try to poke out that Doomfist while we wait. Let the Doomfist be dealt with range damage. Your Genji took down the Bastion, which is awesome, but the Bastion's going to get rezzed because you guys aren't in sync. No, we don't want to push. We want to wait on our Genji. Unfortunately, we do. Hey, we also used Valk. Maybe you do want to push now. I don't like it, but hey. Yeah, you're going to have to push. Drop your shield and walk forward to recover shield. Yeah, you're so done. Okay, they used ults. That's fine. Just try and brawl out. Try and reset quickly. You've lost your Genji again, so this is a full stagger at this point. I get it, he's not in voice chat. Your team, I don't love it. Just shatter this. Literally just shatter this. You have a cart, your shatter will go under the cart. It's would have been fine. Now it's too late. I know the Orisa's not going to get shattered, but it's just like, hey, let's shatter, let's knock the hog down, etc. Like, you need some help here. You need to pour a little more into this fight. Shield. You shouldn't have. I don't love that, but okay. I'm a little surprised you didn't take a charge there, but I'm fine. Fine. Swing away. Keep it closed. There's a Bastion over there. Keep the angle closed. No. You want to keep this angle closed and walk through here where he's not shooting at you. You want to use hard cover to get as close as you can to the Bastion. That's the basics of playing, you know, Reinhardt, dive, whatever into Bastion that isn't trying to outspam the Bastion. Okay. Good. Okay, take high ground. You need to take high ground so that they can.
Let's get you back out there.
If you have already taken this high ground control, you will get to move the cart from here to here pretty much for free. It's a big deal. Now it's too late, and you're gonna have to push across. You're down one. No, they're down one. Okay. Don't stand here. Don't stand here. Hard shield. Go here. Drop your shield and wait. Drop your shield. That was way more time than you needed your shield up. Your shield was just to get you to here, and then you drop it. He got like another 600 to 800 HP out of your shield after you would have been safe. Good. This is right. We used hard cover to get as close to the enemy as we can before, you know, we actually have to, you know, put ourselves in their sight line, etc. Kind of a messy fight, and that's how things have traded out, but hey. You can't. Like, it's too far away and he's already looking at you. Even if you did have a straight line charge to the Bastion here and you were sure that that would hit, etc., you're too far away for a Bastion that's already looking in this direction. If the Bastion wasn't already looking in your direction, you might be able to get a pin off from here, but literally the animation of you going into your charge is almost enough for him to eliminate you before you've moved at all if he's pre-looking at you. Yeah. And that's part of why it's got to be a team effort to take down these Bastion nests.
This is not over.
I'm glad he didn't. I'm glad he didn't get melted trying to shatter there, because the shatter wouldn't have pathed across the air to the Bastion.
EMP charged.
Activated.
Okay, so we can just rotate into here. This is going to be tough with where they are, but we could flip the map on them. And then by flipping the map on them, we potentially have a better path up to them. You see what I'm saying? This is then a shorter run to the Bastion than this is. This is an impossible run for you to the Bastion. This rotation, come out through here, back up here. They'll probably move and reset somewhere, but then every time they move, that's a chance for them to make a mistake. And anytime they're moving, their Bastion is not dangerous. So you rotating to make them have to counter-rotate is perfectly valid. It's just hard when your whole team isn't in comms. But as Reinhardt, you do try to control your team's rotations. Nope. This isn't going to work. There's nowhere to go from here. Yeah, it's unfortunate. EMP's really good for taking down the Bastion nest, but, you know, you aren't in a place where you can follow up on it, and they're not going to drop. Yeah, like, EMP's great, but there's no reason for them to drop, and you aren't in a place to follow up.
Experience tranquility.
Ha! Swing! Swing! Swing!
Enemy is back in the fight.
Okay.
Seconds remaining.
There is still more to my tale.
Payload's on its way.
All good. You almost had it. They're not as hard to dislodge where they are now as they were in the past. There, you forced fade. And are you going to surprise shatter from behind? No. You're not. No. Oh, he looked away.
Heroes never die.
Reviving.
There is still
10
more
seconds
to my fear.
remaining.
Out of time. Attack. My ultimate is ready.
And you just have to feed trying to get to the cart. It sucks, but that's life at this point. Right idea. Your shield should have gone up a touch sooner, then you might have gotten the shatter off, but that shatter would have changed nothing.
EMP activated. Malfunction.
Control link established.
Helden sterben nicht.
Okay.
30 seconds remaining.
Let's get the pin. Okay. So, on Orisa, think about your superchargers more, think about the timing more, and specifically where you're positioning them so that they're like behind corners, on high ground, etc., a little more protected, but still giving like 70% of their influence to your team. That's what I'd like you to do. You already were starting to adjust your shield, so I'm less worried about that. And do be a little more aware of your ammo count when you're supercharging. Ammo count isn't a huge thing for you to worry about, but especially if you're down teammates, think about your ammo count. And then for Reinhardt, really playing Reinhardt into Bastions is going to be about hitting those rotations, going for those rotations to get your team as close. You can go through an opening with Reinhardt, a small opening while you're far away using your shield to get your team behind cover, and then rotate behind as much cover as possible to get your team as close as you can to the Bastion before you try to commit on him. So you try to go from cover to cover with Reinhardt because you do not last long. And then for the final push, you're, Diva DMs while you charge him or something. Or you hold your shield until it bursts as your team is running at him, and then maybe you go down but your team overwhelms him type thing. Like, that's what you're looking to do. But you want to rotate through cover as much as you can. And that's going to be, hey, we're going to rotate here, we're going to rotate here. And they're going to counter-rotate as you move up. And that's fine because when they're counter-rotating, their Bastion isn't dangerous, and they're counter-rotating away, which is usually giving you space that your cart can move more, etc. So that really is what you're looking for. Reinhardt is not the easiest tank to play into Bastion, though. I'm not going to lie there. The easiest one, if you want to be the difference maker that leads to taking down the Bastion, and your team is just struggling to the Bastion, is Diva, and probably the next easiest one is Hog. That doesn't necessarily mean you should run Diva Hog together, but in Bronze, maybe you should. Okay. Yes, the better hero for this part for your attack round. Diva was already picked, and Diva is a good, correct hero, etc. So I have no real issue with the Diva pick. The options that you could have done is you could have gone with Hog, but Diva Hog isn't great for comboing to take down the Bastion because you don't, have a great way to close in on the Bastion. Reinhardt's okay with that. The other thing that you could have picked is you could have picked Orisa and sort of done that same thing we were talking about with your Zen, where, hey, Orisa's also firing projectiles, don't have fall-off damage, and you could have just been like, nope, we are going to shoot you from 1,000,000 miles away where you don't do any damage to us to try to force you to move, etc. But that's not an option everywhere. That could have worked on the first half of First, but that wouldn't necessarily have worked here because you can't shoot them from 1,000,000 miles away. The confines of the map don't really allow for it. Their positioning doesn't really allow for it, etc. Okay, I see your comment for a third option. That's fine. Diva was picked, and Diva's the best. Hog, you hardly know. That's fine. Orisa and Rein are probably your two next best options. Main tanks are less good at taking down Roadhog than off tanks are. Your main tank is sort of, hey, you rotate. Your main tank is either going to be like, okay, I'm here to help us harder commit when we do commit, but I'm not any good against the Bastion himself. Or, hey, we help you rotate in, like your Reinhardt does, like your Orisa can do a little, but your Orisa would be a little bit more about that. I don't really think that your pick is the problem. If Diva wasn't picked, I'd say pick Diva, but with Diva picked, I think your Reinhardt was a fine thing, and it was just about controlling the rotations, etc. Which again is going to be hard to do. And if your team is showing no organization whatsoever, you can pick the Hog, like we said, or you could try to pick Zarya to get high energy, but you're not really going to be able to do enough with that high energy because that doesn't remove the Bastion problem. Right, Rein wasn't that bad of a pick because you already had a Diva. It's just, hey, we need to control the rotations from there. Why is it out here? Give me the real lock on Reinhardt. Huh. I wanted a better screen.
Payload's on its way.
Okay. Let's go here real quick.
30 seconds.
Anyway, we gave you what to work on. I think that's going to do it. If you have more questions, certainly let me know. People, if you are... Sig is decent, but not amazing. Like, the fact that his shift can just be like, no, I'm going to absorb stupid amounts of damage with shift can help. His barrier, of course, immediately gets chunked down, and he doesn't have the range that Orisa does. So he's okay, but I don't think he's like some top-tier pick into it, etc. I'd put him in a similar place to Reinhardt and Orisa. Okay. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that definitely helps me out. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see the rates, hang out with the awesome community we have, see what other events we have going on, cool stuff like that. And I don't see anything else, so that's going to do it. Thanks, guys. Temporal out.